morning. Welcome to the Un Beyond Mindset podcast. I am your host, Marisol Uribe. And today we're just going to jump right into it. Rigo and I, we are entrepreneurs, young hustlers. And Rigo's got a story in which if you're an insurance agent, you may relate to. So, Rigo, I want to know what got you into the industry and what were you doing before?
So, I wasn't really interested in the industry at first. So, when I first got into it, it was around my senior year of high school. I was the interpreter for my parents, because our state agent would help them out, and basically. He was selling them a life insurance policy, and I guess my parents just, wanted me to translate for them because they didn't want to get, hustled over, basically.
Right.
And I was translating for them and going back and forth, and the State Farm agent noticed that. He's like, wow, this guy, he's translating. And the thing about it was that his name is Marty, and Marty spoke Spanish. He wasn't very proficient, but he knew his Spanish. He knew how to talk and communicate. So he knew that I was explaining it better, or exactly how he would have explained it.
Funny how you still remember his name to this day. And I have a similar story about how I came into nursing. It was during an appointment of mine that my mom wanted to know, what was going on. And, I happily shared. But it was along those lines. It was, how do we lessen the gap of this language barrier that exists in the United States? And I believe it exists less and less because more of us are stepping up, right? More of us are getting into more various roles within different industries. So it's great that part of that contributed to your growth and culture as well.
Yeah, you make a good point. I could see that just more people could speak different languages, and especially our generation, right? Just going to different industry and helping out the best we can.
Would you say you're the first in your family that's as driven as you are, or were your parents just driven in different ways? Can you tell me more about that?
No, there's definitely other driven individuals within my family. I think just in different certain parts. My mom was very driven. We're talking about a lady who didn't know any English, started her own house cleaning business, and now she owns multiple properties. And she's living the good life right now, but that's as driven as she was. Right. So
that's fantastic, because even people that are born here don't amass a certain number of properties by a certain age. And tell me more about your dad. Your mom seems to have really done well for herself, but what about your dad?
So my dad, he was a hustler too. Passed away in 2014.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Okay, it happens. Yeah, during the time he was alive, he was the main breadwinner. Construction. I remember that he was the first one to truly take initiative to learn the English language. So he was able to hold his own on conversations. Like it'd hardly be the time that he would ask me to translate, unless we were dealing with bank stuff or stuff like that. But for
more technical.
Exactly.
Of an analysis, yeah. That's great. Do you have other siblings?
I do have two younger brothers. I have a sister. I have two foster sisters and a foster brother.
What a lovely big family. Say they look up to you?
I would say so. I mean, I don't really know, to be honest. I think they I think if they look up to me, it's more of a big brother situation. It's not like they want to go around, they want to go along the same road that I took. I also have different role models because they all they're very different from each other, right? Even if you compare my two younger brothers, my biological brothers, we're very different from each other. There's similarities, but we all definitely took different paths. So I'm sure that they have, different role models in their lives as well.
Are they employed?
They are. My youngest brother, Brian, he's working 2 jobs, I believe, right now. He's working at a fast food place in Amazon. He's 19. And
in school?
So he's enrolling next semester. So really
all right.
See you and them.
Good job, guys.
Right?
Nice. High five to Brian.
Exactly. And Christian, I don't know what he's doing. I believe he's doing something in construction. I've been talking to him in a couple months.
Well, the nuclear family is such a place where I find, and the people that I've interviewed about their past in a way does influence their future, but your past doesn't necessarily have to define you. So Rigo's a great example of someone who has learned along the way, even after college. So after university, there are certain courses that you could go to, mentorship seminars, and even go one-on-one with someone, as you have. Can you tell me more about your journey of leadership and learning outside of the traditional school?
So leadership, that's a good one. I think I'm still learning. I'm still developing myself as a leader. I saw a big difference, a big, I guess, level jump from the first driven boot camp that I went. But other than that, in terms of my own self-schooling, I just did I read a lot of books. I'm a big fan of, I believe it's called the 4 Disciplines of Execution. 6 Months to 6 Figures is one of my favorites too. But I haven't really done like courses outside, right? Actually taking courses. I've done one-on-ones, right? I took the one-on-one with my mentor, Albert. But other than that, I never really took courses other than traditional schooling.
That's a good point that you added, that you don't really have to. It's just more so finding a mentor, someone that you look up to, a lifestyle that you may want to match someday, and just listening to that limited number of people, whether it's 1 or 2. In your case, it's Albert Preciado. For those of you who don't know, he is the CEO of multiple companies, one of them being the drivenevent.com, as the group that we referred to that hosted this event, the Driven Bootcamp, and their annual larger Driven event as well, in which they just bring in different successful people, mostly entrepreneurs from different industries and backgrounds. So tell me more about where you are now and where you're headed.
So where I'm at now, are you talking like business-wise, mentality-wise, or?
I like both topics because I feel that with Beyond Mindset podcast, we want to focus on not so much also the trajectory of your life, right? What got you to being successful. But I think a lot of it stems in the mindset, right? We oftentimes may have limiting beliefs, self-doubt, naysayers, right? The evil creeping in, those voices saying that you can't do it. So what is something that has worked for you? And yes, what were you before in terms of your team? And maybe tell me how many people it has grown to. So that alone demonstrates like your ability to lead. And also with their production, right? If, tell us about a little bit about that, if you may.
Okay, yeah, of course. So where we're at right now. So right now, we just recently moved to a much better area in Albuquerque. It's a very up and coming area. It's called Uptown. Right now my team is at 14 members. I've been interviewing a couple of people. Production wise, we're doing pretty good. You know, we were doing better last year. We're number wise, I believe we're about 4% down from last year. So it's not a huge hit, but I do have less salespeople than last year.
Okay.
That could be a contributing factor. In terms of how my business is doing health-wise, right? Health-wise, we're in pretty good standing. You know, we're not in the red, we're in the green. There's always money to take care of my employees, take care of myself, take care of what needs to be taken care of, and then I always make sure to leave a healthy amount in my accounts to take care of next year's taxes. That's the important part. People miss out on making sure that they save up for next year's taxes. We're nowhere where I want to be, right? It's still a long road ahead. But I would definitely want to be running multiple agencies at the same time. I want to get to that point where I'm not selling anymore. I'm more teaching people how to sell, helping people run their own help run people run an agency, and just that's where I'm kind of looking towards the future wise.
Kudos, Rigo, props. And Rigo is short for Rigoberto, for you non-Latinos out there. And so what you said was key, planning for taxes. That's inevitable. Taxes and death are inevitable, guys. If you're making it in whatever industry, as a solo entrepreneur, as a small business owner with a team, you still need to pay taxes. It's not going to be automatically deducted like in your 9-to-5 W-2. And so there's a lot of things that you need to account for besides the traditional like 9-to-5 job roles. If you're seeking to be independent, where you have the ability to grow a bit more, the income potential is unlimited, right? It's according to your production, your personal grind and hustle. So Rigo is an example of another entrepreneur, someone who sees vision, has a dream greater than themselves at this point, because now you're involving 14 other people. So these are other people that are not only modeling your industry, right? What you do, maybe they could sell even your same products or similar, but it's a team at this point, and you're the leader leading the pack. So congrats on your new office. I know you just moved. Rigo has an Instagram where you can follow him. You want to share your handle?
It's called Rigo the Agent.
Rigo the Agent on Instagram. And how can they reach you if, say, they're local to you or they just have questions about a life insurance policy?
You know, they could always DM me or call my office at 505-349-3965, or call my cell phone, 505-515-8819, or just stop by the office. Google me just by putting Rigo Castillo State Farm, and it'll show you my location.
Perfect. So thank you so much for your time this morning. As we wrap up, could you please tell me, what does having an un billón mindset mean to you, and how do you plan to stay true to that definition?
Okay, so un billón mindset, I think for me what it means, it's just having no limits, right? Going as far as you want to go. And how am I gonna, I guess, keep going in that mindset is, I've been thinking a lot lately, right? I've been reading that book, Your Next 5 Moves by Patrick Bet-David.
Mm-hmm. Great book, by the way.
Yep. I really like that part where he says, you need to find what drives you, right? So different people have different drives. You know, you might want to be a person who just wants to make good money to make sure you take care of your family, but you want to spend a lot of family time, right? To, you know, someone else who, you know, they want to put in that mad work because they want the flashy cars, they want the Ferrari, they want the cars, they want the big mansion. So for me, is I already have a clear vision as to what I want. I just need to keep it on top of mind. You know, just go back to the principles stuff, the basics, and creating those vision boards and keep getting better, even if it's by small percentages or small increments, just pushing to get better.
And I think a great way to do that is, like you said, the metric. Rigo is someone who has a business plan. If you don't have one, you should get one, because you need to revisit that, whether it's, you know, quarterly or whatever your situation is, if you're just starting off, perhaps more often. But he was able to tell us that his production dropped, say, 4%, and you won't know that if you don't track your numbers. So definitely with this new office space, there's more overhead, and you know, I don't really know of your expenses, but I hope you guys took a lot from this interview. And again, thank you so much, Rigo, for your time.
Anytime, thank you.
Hasta luego.
Bye.
Bye.